Bullpen is the only mafia news station.
When JFK was first elected, he had problems like this. They were short of votes. In Hawaii, they found votes. In Chicago, they found votes. They were not necessarily legitimate finds because in Chicago, they used Sam Giancana to do this. And who knows where he came up with these votes. But this is something which has been done in probably every election that we know about, in terms of the candidates saying, you know, there's got to be other votes here, there, or elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that suddenly became a crime in Georgia, which is, to me, totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
I would like to jump in because
sure.
I've been indicted on the RICO Act. I understand the RICO Act. When I got arrested in Arizona, they used the state RICO Act against me. That all these kids who were dealing ecstasy and dealing drugs or whatever, they made me the boss. I had no idea who they were, what they were dealing, and they used this RICO Act against me. And, you know, what's his name? Giuliani is indicted on it. And we could talk about Giuliani a little bit, my friend, that he is, you know, he's made statements about me and he said, I would love to see Sammy again. I would love to see him in court and I would love to give him 100 fucking years. Well, you know, because he had the power to use the RICO Act against tons of people. So my question to Giuliani and my answer to Giuliani, I would love to see you again, my friend, in court when you get sentenced right now to 100 fucking years or for the rest of your life in prison, using the thing that you use so well against so many people, Italian people, black people, Mexican people, everybody. You use this same fucking act. How does it feel, Giuliani? How does it feel, you fucking mutt? So I know about this thing, and it's insane how when the government wants to use this. Now, I'm going to give a prediction. They use this RICO Act. They pinched 19 people. Half of them, all of them are like legitimate people. They don't even know what they got hit with. They're probably shell-shocked. They're lawyers, they're women, they're men, they're legitimate people all their life. Like you said, they did nothing. They either represented him, advised him, and all of a sudden, now, when the criminal organization, they would call it the mafia or whatever they would call it. What is the organization here that he was being accused with? The United States government?
Exactly. Huh? That's my point. There is no organization. There is
there is an organization. It's the United States government. If he's controlling, he's the president, then he's controlling. And if it's used as a RICO law legitimately, then the organization, he's the boss. And the United States government is the corrupt organization. Now, they might be right with the corrupt, that the United States is corrupt, but, you know, they go into this, and I've gone through it myself personally. I got a 20-year sentence on it, lifetime supervised release, $100,000 fine. I didn't even know what the fuck planet I was on. And that's exactly what these people are going to go through. But I'm going to make my prediction. That's their first move. Next move is they're going to go to these people, men and women. They're going to be shell-shocked. This is what you can go to prison for and how long you can go to prison. Now they're going to ask them to flip. So you turn against Trump, give us some meat and potatoes. We'll give you a slap on the wrist like I got. For 19 murders, I got 5 years. That wasn't my motive, but that's what happened. And that's what they're going to tell these people. So now the next step is 1 or 2 or 3 of them are so scared, and they're legitimate people. I could imagine what these poor people are going to go through. And they're going to flip. They're going to bullshit or whatever they're going to do. Now we got Trump dead. We got witnesses. We got this bullshit, that bullshit. Now, the best thing that in some of these indictments that he has, I watched a video. ABC put out a fucking video of him talking about when they went to the House of Representatives, go there, march, do the right thing, all this stuff. The only thing is they left out a whole section where he's saying, be law-abiding, don't use violence. They took that out.
Yes.
Now, you know that. You're a prosecutor. Yeah. A prosecutor cannot take away something like that. So what you did is fuck with words. The first part of his words, you took out the part that he's talking good, and you put the other part in, and it sounds horrible. It sounds like he's telling them, go take it over, use violence, do whatever you want, which is not true. When they took out that, I even saw Dershowitz. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a Democrat, powerful lawyer, extremely smart. And he said, even if he's found guilty, he'll appeal it. It'll go to the United States Courts of Appeals. The whole case will be thrown out because the prosecutors lied and hid information that would be good for him. Now, I don't want the case to be, I care less if the case is thrown out. It should be thrown out. But more I care about is that the prosecutor who did that, he should be indicted. That's what he did is out and out illegal. So this whole thing with Trump, they're so afraid of him. Look, there's 4 states, 5 states, 5 different indictments against the guy. This shows how afraid they are of the truth to come out or have this man get back in power.
Exactly.
And they're terrified about this. So go ahead, Michael. And
No,
I
Sam,
I want what's his Jay to jump in.
I just want
I
to
was
point
gonna.
out.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Go.
No. I was just going to ask Sammy a question if he had ever experienced in his court cases a situation like that where he felt like the audio was clipped and tampered with.
Almost not all my cases, I had legitimate cases against me that I did the crime. I didn't see them bullshitting. When I went through my case with John Gotti at the end, they made mistakes in the case. I don't think they were bullshitting when I cooperated, and I was on the other side. I listened to them. I sat with them, and they didn't lie in the case. They made a few mistakes. A prostitute ID'd John Gotti out of the car at the scene giving orders, and I told the government that's not true. John Gotti was in the car with me. He was my driver. He never got out of the car. So whatever she's telling you, I don't know if it's a lie. And later on, we figured it out. She saw Joe Watts, who looks like John Gotti, same height, same build, salt and pepper hair. She probably thought he was John Gotti. So she didn't lie. She made a mistake. And they corrected that. The government, when I was on the other side, corrected that, got rid of her as a witness. They didn't, do anything. She wasn't lying. She made a mistake. So, but in other cases, like my case in Arizona, which was a state, everything was wrong. Everything was fake. Everything was bullshit. We even have detectives talking to us now. I just did a big interview, a documentary with a company from England, Talus, and they interviewed my daughter, my son, a lot of people who were involved in the case. I don't even know, cops, everybody. And they were even saying the government in the case with Sammy was so fucking corrupt, it was crazy. As soon as the government came in, the case went haywire. They allowed people in who they knew were lying. They had pictures, they had documents, they hid that. So guys said, Sammy started this or he did X, Y, Z. They had evidence of the opposite. Now, I didn't know how to fight that. I didn't, the guy is saying it. I'm saying he's a liar. Could I prove he was lying? No, because I didn't know what the fuck was happening behind the scenes. So yes, I experienced it firsthand. That's a case I should have got 5 to 7 years. If it was legit, I did lend money to them. They did buy drugs. Even my lawyer asked one of the witnesses on the stand, did Sammy ever buy drugs with you guys? No. Did Sammy sell drugs with you guys? No. Did Sammy ever go out with you socializing? No. They were much younger than me. So my lawyer said, then what the fuck did he do? He's indicted. Well, he was the boss. This is that typical RICO thing.
Yeah,
he was the boss. He was the boss. So I took weight for stuff I didn't even know. Down the road, I took the weight on it. My son was caught dead to rights. And the sentences went up for him. 45 years he was facing with the government, 25 with the state, because I was not only arrested with the state, I was arrested in February of 2000 with the state. In January of 2001, now I'm indicted with the feds too. Almost a Trump thing here. I'm getting indicted up the wazoo. You don't know whether you're coming or going no more. You got lawyers for here, lawyers for there. So I went through the same thing that he's going through. I understand it. I know it. I went through it. And they're hard. The RICO case, and Michael could talk about that, they're hard to beat. They're almost impossible to beat because you're fighting stuff you don't even know or stuff you didn't even do. What do you take the stand and say? They're lying? Who's going to believe you?